Your gut microbiome can be a significant contributor to weight gain and obesity. Most people don't realize it. In fact, it's probably the single factor holding a lot of people back, and it's a major factor why diets, most of the fad diets, don't work, because they're not working on the microbiome. It's kind of one of those backstops. And from my perspective, it's the first thing you need to address if you really want to lose weight, maintain weight, and by the way, improve your health. So it all comes down to your gut microbiome. But let me explain, first of all, the science to demonstrate that it is your gut that's keeping the weight on. The first is you look at antibiotics. All of the research on antibiotics in humans shows that it puts on weight. So antibiotics kill the gut microbiome, you put on weight. In fact, they use it in the animal industry, particularly do with cattle, where they give them antibiotics, low doses, and they put on about 15% extra weight just by taking the antibiotics. Wow, 15% extra weight. So we know antibiotics affect the gut, it causes weight gain. Antibacterials, there are studies showing that the more times you use antibacterials, the greater potential for weight gain because it destroys the gut. Now, I hate it at the moment that so many people are wiping their hands with all these chemicals that don't work and have no benefit around the supermarket and so on. In hospital settings, maybe, but not the way we're doing it. Getting back to antibacterials, one of the best studies I came across was where the mothers were using them, which led to a dysbiosis, an upset of the gut microbiome in the infants, which led to them at age 3 and on gaining weight as well. So let's get rid of those antibacterials. Processed foods. Now, everyone knows processed foods put on weight, but did you know that food additives, some of the ones, for example, one of the groups called emulsifiers that help mix fat and water together, they actually cause you to put on weight. They cause a sick gut and cause you to put on weight. And here's the famous one, artificial sweeteners. They're the ones they put in all the soft drinks and all the foods to sweeten it up. And you think, wow, that's good. But you already know from lots of my other videos I've posted up on this, that artificial sweeteners, despite no calories, they help put on weight. Now, how can they do that? Because they actually, one of the mechanisms is they actually help poison the gut microbiome. And so they've found that poison the gut microbiome and you put on weight as a result. So the artificial sweeteners and other additives. Now, here's another one, cesarean birth. Kids, infants who are born cesarean actually put on more weight. Why? All comes back to the microbiome. So I think I've pretty well convinced you, haven't I, that the gut plays a big role in weight gain. But hold on, just a little bit more. So they're all the negative ones there, and they contribute to what's called leaky gut. And in leaky gut, they get a little chemical in there called LPS, lipopolysaccharides, and the leaky gut causes weight gain, obesity, and metabolic syndrome. Don't worry. The good part of this is there are solutions. We're not locked into them. It's not genetic. It's what we're going to do to our gut. But let's come back to me convincing you that it's the gut. And what we've got here is all of the weight loss medications that people take, even things like metformin for diabetes, works via the gut. Principal point of that is via the gut. So why don't we just start fixing the gut? Then there's something called germ-free mice. They breed mice up that don't have a microbiome. You've got 100 trillion microorganisms. They breed up sterile mice and they make sure, using lots of chemicals, that they wipe them all out. And guess what? Yep, when you feed them a high-fat diet, they actually put on 60% less weight. Wow. So you want that? No, don't worry. That's an experiment. And that's just showing something. And if that happened to you, you'd be very, very sick. But it demonstrates clearly the role just of the microbiome in the mice to put on weight or not. So let's go back. And the final part of this equation is, well, what if we look after ourselves and we build a healthy gut microbiome? And that's what the research shows. If we do the things, the research shows that probiotics, and here it is, I'm going to give you the first hint, which is critical. Probiotics, the studies show it's a mixed, so at least 3 or 4 different varieties or strains of probiotics over at least an 8-week period. So it takes time to come into play, but the studies show that a mix of probiotics, now there are lots of the market, no, and I don't sell any, I'm trying to give you the information, but a mix of probiotics actually are effective in helping stabilize your weight gain and lose weight. So make sure it's a part of your regime. Then we've got prebiotics, and these are the fibers. The studies show that fiber, increasing your fiber, also reduces your weight gain, stabilizes, stops you putting on weight, and helps to increase your prebiotics, your fiber. And my favorite, of course, is K fiber. And then we've got a new one now called postbiotics. And these postbiotics are the kind of the breakdown or the metabolic products of the good gut bacteria. And there's one in here, I want you to watch this one, butyrate. Butyrate, you can actually get that as a supplement. I think it's called Tributin. And butyrate has been shown just on its own to actually act as a weight loss treatment. Wow, butyrate, and it's just coming from the gut. And where did I get it? Well, the gut microorganisms ferment the fiber, produce the butyrate, and it helps you lose weight. How simple is that? Then you've got the phytobiotics, and these are all the herbs and the spices and all those things, all of those dense nutrients, really good polyphenols and things that you get in all of your herbs, spices and veggies, and they've all been shown to contribute to weight loss. They actually help stimulate metabolism, and as you'll see in a moment, lots of other factors. And the final conviction and convincing you that the gut plays a major role is that when they do a fecal transplant, that's called a washed microbiome transplant, but when they do a poo swap and they get fat mice and take the poo from them and put them in skinny mice, the skinny mice put on weight. Wow, that convinces you, doesn't it? And if they do the opposite and they get the poo from the skinny mice and they put it in the fat mice start to lose weight. You're thinking ahead here, aren't you? But don't worry. Then they've done the experiments where they've taken feces from obese humans and put it in the skinny mice, and the skinny mice, yes, again, they put on weight. And they've done the same vice versa with the skinny humans, put it in fat mice, and it works. Wow. Now, I'm not suggesting you do a bit of poo swapping here, but I'm trying to convince you that this is a critical part of any weight loss program. And if you understand how critical it is, then you've got the answer, because all this stuff here, all these ones I've talked about, lead to weight loss, improved energy, mood, and overall general health. So it's a win-win-win situation. Work on your gut. And as you'll be aware, I've got lots of videos on improving gut health. Not to mention, please have a look at the video called The 7 Secrets to Permanent Weight Loss. It builds on this. And please hit the subscribe button, because this information is unique. It's just all that information I've compiled over 40 years to do with all of this based on science. So from the science we go, the gut, how does it work? The gut microbiome, that's the 100 trillion microorganisms in the large intestine. They, first of all, improve nutrition. They're involved with about 60%, 40, 50, 60% of our nutrition. For example, they produce vitamin B and vitamin K. And as a result of their metabolism, they also make lots of the other nutrients available to us. So they're critical. So the first thing is we get the nutrients. You've got the nutrients, and you've got the energy to do all the things you need, and for all of your cells and everything to work properly, which helps with weight loss. Then, interestingly enough, your gut plays a major role in hormones, even estrogen. Estrogen is recycled through the gut, reused through the gut. But on top of that, it produces, your gut works on other, for what are called phytoestrogens, things that you get from soya and nuts and other foods that, can be of benefit to you. And it uses and recycles those and develops them so that they're available to us in a form that our body can use. And all of these things, you're well aware, ladies, if you're 40 plus, well aware that estrogen is a big player in weight movements as we age. And guys, it works the same with us, other hormones too. Now, there's one other group of hormone chemical messengers in there called leptin and ghrelins. And you've probably heard of those. Ghrelins make us a bit hungry, and the leptins we feel satiated with. But the ghrelins and the leptins are also altered by the gut or influenced by the chemicals in the gut. Then you've got neurotransmitters, ones like serotonin that make you feel good, mood improvements, dopamine, mood improvements. All those things alter how you perceive the world around you and what you do. But these neurotransmitters also enable us to improve metabolism and energy and get the right messages to the right place at the right time. So if you want to lose weight, you want to make sure everything's functioning in your body as best you can. That's why fad diets don't work, because they're not focusing on the nutrients. Then you get a group called short-chain fatty acids, and I've already mentioned one, butyrate. Butyrate, it has so many benefits around the body, and it comes from the fermentation of fibers. We've got also, I put these two in just to show you there's another dozen minor ones, but even in your gut, they're producing bile acids and something called H2S, hydrogen sulfide gas. You probably know that if you change it a bit, you get a rotten egg gas called H2SO4. Rotten egg gas, I suppose I know it is. But these actually alter and can improve weight loss simply by the way the gut interacts with them and works on digestion and the mechanisms around weight loss. And how does it do that? Through gene expression. It alters the expression of your genes. So you're not locked into your genes. Obesity is carried through in genes about 6%, 7%, 8%. The rest is what we do to them. So these, working on your gut health, improves gene expression, which means you're going to lose weight, and it improves the gut-brain axis, which is the coordination down to all those other things like cravings, your behavior, your energy, your willingness, your interest in doing things, your moods. Serotonin and dopamine are all influencing, and how you feel about yourself and the world around you will influence, obviously, your eating habits as well. Energy, it alters your energy in terms of these through there, alters your energy, how you harvest energy in your gut. That means, am I going to get all that extra sugar out and put on extra weight and do that? And where do I store it? Do I use it as energy, or do I store it as fat? And that obviously comes down to, it has a big impact on insulin. Your gut is a major player in insulin. And insulin is a major player in weight gain and many other adverse health conditions out there. So what we want to do is adopt the strategy. I'll go back to it. We adopt the strategy of probiotics. Remember, it's mixed probiotics, primarily bifidobacteria, lactobacillus, and another one a new one on the block is called Bacillus coagulans. We've got so a mixture of those, at least 8 weeks, and I'd recommend you keep on them while you're on the weight loss program, so that you build up the ability to have all of those functions going permanently. Prebiotics, they're all the fibers, particularly K fiber. Postbiotics like butyrate, well, they actually come from the prebiotics too. Phytobiotics, add some herbs and spices. Interestingly enough, you look at the research on it, and herbs and spices, everything from turmeric to chili to lots of other nutrients in there, in the herbs and spices, pepper and all those things actually help with weight loss. How? Because they alter all the mechanisms of the metabolism. And finally, well, we're not even going to consider a fecal transplant, but I've given you the solution. Please subscribe below. Have a look at my other videos. There's so much good information. I have no doubt it'll help you.